Could we have lost 85% of the antioxidants? Yeah, maybe. Maybe if you blend for 2 minutes in a cavitation blender, you lose a lot of the antioxidants. How critical is that? I once heard it said from the stage that when we blend our food, we lose more than 85% of the nutrients. And I was thinking how fantastic that was, and how ludicrous. How fantastic to have a method of eliminating 85% of the calories from our food while making a delicious smoothie. And I could suddenly have a very lightweight, light calorie, delicious smoothie. I mean, I know when I blend bananas, it still tastes good. But if I lost 85% of the calories, that would just be great. But that doesn't happen in reality, does it? It's just something somebody said. But it gets repeated again and again. And we know for a fact that nutrients are lost in the blending process depending on how we blend and how much we blend. Because in a high-speed cavitation blender like a Vitamix, air is pulled in to the mixture. And as air is pulled in, the nutrients known as antioxidants get used up with all of the extra oxygen that's flooding into the food. It keeps the food from going bad, the antioxidants. But when we blend, eventually those antioxidants get damaged or used up. And then we'll notice that when we blend food in a Vitamix, that it changes color fairly quickly. It starts to go off. It oxidizes quite quickly. If we did the exact same process, but in what's called a handheld, a stick, the proper name is an immersion blender, we know for a fact when we use the immersion blender, we don't lose as many antioxidants. And we've done studies side by side where you take some bananas and water and blend it in both types of blenders and watch in the cavitation blender, the mixture turns brown very quickly. In the immersion blender, the mixture stays the color that it was when the blending was done. So we can see that happening, the loss of antioxidants, which could be a problem. But the fiber's still there, the water's still there, the protein, the fat, the carbohydrates still there, the minerals are still there. Did we lose 85% of the nutrients? No. So I had to look further. I said, what exactly are you talking about? How can we lose 85% of the nutrients? And the answer was, when we blend our food in a cavitation blender like a Vitamix for 2 minutes. I go, this is different, because normally if I'm blending a smoothie or if I'm blending a salad dressing, I blend for 2 or 3 or maybe 5 seconds. 120 seconds would be a long time. I mean, I can make hot soup in 120 seconds, but typically I'm only blending for a few moments, just enough to blend. I'm not looking to do extra. And then at that point, when we blend for 2 minutes, certain nutrients are lost. Well, somehow that word certain, specific nutrients are lost, damaged, got left out of the description when we were told 85% of the nutrients are lost. So what I'm encouraging people to do really is just keep your head on straight. Listen to what people tell you, but then question, could that possibly be true? Could we have lost 85% of the protein, the fiber, the water, the carbs? None of that could have possibly happened. Could we have lost 85% of the antioxidants? Yeah, maybe. Maybe if you blend for 2 minutes in a cavitation blender, you lose a lot of the antioxidants. How critical is that? Well, unless you're living on blended food, it's probably not that important anyway, because you're getting plenty of antioxidants in everything else you eat. And every time you eat some berries, and every time you have a salad, and every time you eat a mango, and every time you eat some melon, and every time you eat fruits and vegetables, you're taking in tons and tons of antioxidants, because fruits and vegetables are the highest in antioxidants of all foods. So just because we hear something, just because a raw food leader said it, even me, but just because a raw food leader said it, doesn't mean it's automatically gospel. Be willing to look into it, think about it, examine what was said, break it down, ask some questions, and see if maybe it's not exact, maybe the story was slanted just a little bit in order to make a point. Because in this case, it was slanted to make a point. The point was going to be that no nutrients are lost when we juice, but 85% of the nutrients are lost when we blend food. This is obviously came from someone who's promoting juicing, and I'm not knocking juicing. But the idea that no nutrients are lost when we juice, that's profound. That's profound, because the whole point of juicing is to take out the fiber. And open any nutrition book. Fiber's a nutrient. How can we say no nutrients are lost when we juice, when the entire idea is to remove nutrients, specific ones called fiber? So this was sort of a double-edged attack, wasn't it? It was 85% of nutrients were lost. That's very misleading. And then no nutrients are lost when we juice. Again, very misleading, just to make a point. And I've been told many times, if I tell you something that isn't valid, it could invalidate everything I say. At least in your mind, you start to not trust quite as much. You start to wonder. So I'll promise you to be very careful and do my very best to always give you the straight scoop, and encourage you to also look around at the news we hear. And when people say that salt is love, or we need more omega-3s in order to balance out the 6s, or any of the information that's out there in the raw food world, let's be willing to examine and find out for ourselves, at least a bit, if we trust the information we're given.